TheBroGrammer. Good morning guys, TheBroGrammer here again today with a brand new video. Today we will be seeing slash talking about the loops. Alright, we will talk about three main loops in Java. Alright, the while loop, the do while, and the for loop. Alright, I said Java, but most of these loops are present in like almost every languages out there. Alright, now today, alright, I've already created my project there. Everything is ready to go. We'll start with the while loop. Alright, comment. So the while loop is pretty simple. Well, they're all pretty simple. I'll just show you the way it works there. Alright, so this is the while loop. It's pretty simple. Starts with the condition at the top. Alright, verifies your condition, and then if your condition is true, of course, it executes your expression slash code. If it's false, skips it completely. Alright, so let's just go ahead, try something here. Really simple. Let's create a variable that I call var1. Alright, no hard feelings there. var1 equals 5. Alright, now again, the way you write it down is pretty simple. It's the way you saw it here in this picture. Alright, while condition, as you can see it, while brackets, then you have your condition. Alright, now we'll go while brackets condition there. Our condition will be, let's go with var1, alright, inferior to 10. Alright, let's do this for now. We open some new brackets there, and this will be our expression if the condition is true. Alright, we will say var1 plus plus semicolons. Alright, and then we will output, of course, var1, because we want to know what it is before and after the change. Alright, once it starts, gets in the loop the first time, and then what happens after. So this is what's going to happen. Let's put an output here. Alright, state that it's a while loop. Not a wild loop, a while loop. Alright, so let's go ahead, run this. We said it's a while loop. Alright, started at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, didn't run 10, and I'll show you why. It's pretty simple. Alright, so started at 5. Basically it's simple. Verified the condition is var1 inferior to 10. Yes, it was, in the sense that 5 is definitely inferior to 10. Alright, if you don't think so, please go back in grade 9. I was about to say grade 9, but probably like grade, no, just go back to your mom, ask her for more information on this. Alright, now system out here outputs the variable. Alright, variable 1, which should be 5 by then. Alright, then it increases it. Alright, once it increases it, goes back up here. Verify is 6 inferior to 10. Yes, same thing, 6. Same thing for 7, 8, 9. Alright, now after increasing, after the 9th time, alright, we outputted 9 here. Then 9, we add plus 1, becomes 10. Still comes back up here, verifies, is 10 inferior to 10? No, so it skips it automatically. Alright, now let's go back to my picture here. As you can see, once it executes the code, it goes back to the condition just to verify again. Alright, so that's what it did. After the 9th time, once the variable 1 was equal 9, alright, it outputted it, it increased it to 10, finished the execution of the expression within the brackets, went back up. Is it still inferior to 10? No, because 10, technically variable 1 equals 10 by then, so skips it completely. Alright, as we can see in the first picture here. Condition is false, exit it. Alright, done deal. So that's the while loop, my friends. Pretty simple. Alright, now let's move on. Let me just put this in the comments. Now let's move on to the do whiles. Alright, it's another one of, well, to be honest, once I was about to say favorites, but it's funny because the way it progressed, I started with do while because I was like, oh man, I love this loop. Then went on to the while loop. Alright, then finally fell in love with the for loop. Alright, regardless of which situation, You could probably use any loop. It's just up to your discretion, all right? Whichever one you like the most and you feel comfortable around. So let's move on to the do while, because I'm talking too much right now. Do while loop. All right, so it's pretty simple. All right, do, open brackets, while. All right, and then you have the semicolons here, and the expression slash, sorry, the condition will be between those brackets right here. All right, we'll go with the same thing as up top. Variable 1 is inferior to 10. We'll just do the expression here, which will be the same thing as here. All right, system.out.println variable 1. All right, and then increase variable 1 right after that. All right, so let's start again, and of course we start with 5 as variable 1. All right, so let's go ahead, run this, see what happens. So started at 5, ended at 9 again. All right, let's just go to the picture here, which explains us how the do while runs. All right, so that's the do while loop. All right, you have your do, which will basically make you run, you have the loop, starts the loop at the beginning, you run your code, and then you have your condition. All right, if your condition is true, runs the statements, all right, and then goes back up again. If it's false, just exits automatically. Let me just go back here, explain you how it works. All right, it's pretty simple. If you look here, we have our code, we run it, then we have our condition. Is the condition true or false? If it's true, goes back up. If it's false, exit it automatically. All right, now this is how it went. 5. All right, we start, variable 1 has 5 stuck between it, so we output 5, we increase it, is 6 right now, inferior to 10, yes it is, goes back up. All right, to my do here, runs it again, output 6, same does. All right, and then increases it, 6 becomes 7. All right, is 7 inferior to 10? Yes, does the same thing for 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so after the 9th time, all right, after this becomes 8, all right, when this becomes 8, is 8 inferior to 10? Yes, comes here, outputs 8. All right, increases it to 9. All right, now 9 inferior to 10, yes, comes here, outputs 9, increases it to 10. Is 10 inferior to 10? No, it's not. Exits the loop. All right, so that's how it works for the do while. Pretty simple. Now let me just put this in comments again and move on to the for loop. All right, for loop is pretty simple. Well, they're all pretty simple, let's be honest. That's like the 3rd time I said that. All right, so in the for loop, you'll let me just go back to the picture first. All right, you will have your initial condition. As you can see here, that's basically how you write down the for loop. You have your initial condition, you have your initialization, your condition, and then your incrementation slash decrementation. All right, and then your code. All right, so it starts here, you have your condition. If condition is true, code block increments, goes back to the condition again, code block increments, and of course that's if the condition is true. If the condition is false, exits. All right, let's go back here. We'll start this int e equals 0. So this is a convention. We usually use I for the variable within the for loop. All right, if it's the first for loop, all right, when there's there's multiple for loops within a for loop, then we'll go I, J, K, and then the rest, whatever. But if you need more than 3 for loops within one, then you have a problem. You're probably not coding properly. All right, now here we have our declaration slash initialization. Then you will move on to your condition. Here we will say is I inferior to var1, all right, and then semicolon. All right, I inferior to var1, that's our condition right there, folks. And then we will have our increment. All right, I'll say I plus plus. All right, now what's going to happen here is the code. All right, here I'll just do the same thing as here, minus the increment. All right, because it's already there. So I'll just go ahead and output I, because that's the variable that's changing right now. var1 is not. All right, I is changing, and of course I want to put here for. No. Here I will put for loop. All right, now if we look this, let's go back to the picture. I just want to make this clear. We have our initialization slash declaration, and then semicolons. We have our condition, semicolon, increment, then we exit. All right, and then brackets. Between the brackets, we have our expression slash code. All right, and like it stated here, double checks the condition first. If the condition is false, exits right away without running the code block slash expression. All right, if it's true, runs the expression, increments, and then goes back up. So let's try this. Let me close this here. Let's try this. All right, let's run this, see what happens. So it started at 0 up until 4. Why makes sense, because variable 1 contains 5 within it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which makes sense. The only reason why it starts at 0 is because my variable starts at 0. If it started at 1, we would have 4 values. Why? Because, well, there's 1 less. Alright, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason why it's because we have 1 here is 1 inferior to var1. Sorry, 1 inferior to 5. Yes, it is. Comes here, output this, which is 1, and then increments. Alright, so after incrementing, we go back to the condition again, verify the condition is 2 now, because now we're at 2. Is 2 inferior to 5? Yes, it is. Output 2, goes back here, increments. Alright, so this here technically is like supposed to be read as in I++ here, technically, and you can put it this way also. But then, is it really necessary? No, might as well just put it here. Alright, because let me put it back the way it was. It'll do the same thing, remember here. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, if we do it again, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that's how technically you should read it, but again, might as well keep the conventions. Let me just remove this here, and then we have our code. Alright, now the reason why it ended at 4, it's because after incrementing here to 4, goes back verify. After the 4, after it outputs 4 here, goes back here, increments to 5, is 5 inferior to 5, no, then it exits. Alright, so it did not output the 5 value. That's pretty simple. Alright, so thank you guys again for watching my video. TheBroGrammer here again today. If you liked the video, please press the like button, subscribe, and there'll be much more to come. Thanks, have a goddamn day.